3:14 a.m., January 30th, 1889. The hunting lodge at Mayerling. A single gunshot echoes. That gunshot, chilling the early morning air, would shatter more than just the silence. It would ignite a firestorm of speculation, scandal, and conspiracy that continues to burn over a century later. The official story was clear, a tragic suicide pact, but the whispers, the unofficial narratives, told a far more complex and dangerous tale. At the heart of this enduring mystery stood Rudolf, Crown Prince of Austria, only son of Emperor Franz Joseph I and Empress Elizabeth Sissi. Born into an ancient dynasty, burdened by expectation, Rudolf's life was a gilded cage, destined for a throne he increasingly despised. He was a man of paradox, intelligent, liberal, and scientifically curious, yet deeply melancholic and prone to erratic behavior. His progressive views often clashed with his ultra-conservative father, creating a chasm within the imperial household that only widened with time. Rudolf's marriage to Princess Stephanie of Belgium, arranged for political expediency, was another source of profound unhappiness. He found solace elsewhere, seeking companionship and passion outside the confines of his dynastic duties, a common enough practice in royal circles, but one that bred further discontent. His true affections, it seemed, lay with a young Baroness Mary Wetzera. She was just 17, a spirited beauty from a minor aristocratic family. Their affair, passionate and clandestine, was a dangerous game, played out under the watchful eyes of the Viennese court. Mary, perhaps naive, perhaps deeply in love, was utterly devoted to Rudolf. Their bond, however unconventional, provided a brief respite from the pressures of his life, a fleeting escape from a world he found increasingly suffocating. But their secret could not last. The Mayerling hunting lodge, nestled deep in the Vienna woods, was Rudolf's private retreat. It was there, on that fateful winter night, that the story of Rudolf and Mary reached its tragic climax. The official narrative, carefully constructed by the imperial court, was swift and definitive. Crown Prince Rudolf, it was declared, had committed suicide in a fit of depression, taking Mary Wetzera with him in a tragic pact. The immediate cover-up was extensive, almost frantic. Mary's body was smuggled away, buried in secret. Rudolf's own death was initially presented as a heart attack. But the inconsistencies mounted. Why the desperate secrecy? Why the ever-changing explanations? The Empress Sissi herself hinted at a truth far darker, telling a confidante that Rudolf had been murdered. Such pronouncements from the heart of the monarchy fueled the burgeoning conspiracy theories. One prominent theory suggested that Rudolf, a known liberal, was involved in a plot to overthrow his father. His progressive ideals, his disdain for the conservative court, and his alleged connections to Hungarian nationalists made him a dangerous figure in a volatile empire. Could Rudolf have been assassinated by agents of his own government, or perhaps by foreign powers, to prevent a political upheaval? This theory posits that Mary Wetzera was either an innocent victim or perhaps even a pawn caught in a web far beyond her comprehension. Another theory, gaining traction in later years, focused on a violent altercation. Some accounts suggest Rudolf and Mary were caught in a struggle, possibly with a third party, leading to an accidental shooting or a murder disguised as a suicide. The precise nature of Mary Wetzera's injuries also raised questions. Early reports hinted at a struggle, not merely a single, clean gunshot. Her body, when exhumed decades later, offered some clues, but ultimately no definitive answers that silenced the doubters. Even the timeline of events was murky. Servants, initially questioned, gave conflicting statements. The official investigation, if it could even be called that, was perfunctory, designed more to control the narrative than to uncover the unvarnished truth. The imperial family had immense power, and their desire to protect the dynasty's reputation was paramount. A suicide, however scandalous, was preferable to an assassination, which would imply internal strife or external enemies threatening the very fabric of the empire. For years, access to official documents remained restricted. Diaries, letters, and eyewitness accounts were either suppressed or disappeared. This deliberate obfuscation only served to deepen the mystery, allowing the seeds of conspiracy to take root and flourish. The psychological state of Rudolf himself is central to the suicide theory. He was known to suffer from bouts of profound depression, exacerbated by his unhappy marriage, his political frustrations, and a possible venereal disease that left him in constant pain. He had spoken of suicide before, even drafting a farewell letter to his mother. For many, this evidence firmly points to a man driven to despair, choosing to end his life with the woman he loved, rather than endure a life he found unbearable. However, even if he intended suicide, the circumstances of Mayerling still present anomalies. Was Mary a willing participant, or was she coerced? Her final letters suggest a deep despair, but also a desperate plea for help, a desire to escape her fate. The events at Mayerling had profound consequences, not just for the Habsburg dynasty, but for Europe. Rudolf's death removed a potentially liberal future emperor, paving the way for his conservative uncle, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, whose assassination in 1914 would ignite World War I. The Mayerling incident became a cultural phenomenon, inspiring books, films, and plays, each attempting to unravel the knot of secrecy and speculation. The enduring fascination speaks to our collective desire to understand the hidden mechanisms of power and the tragic fates of those caught within them. Despite countless investigations, the opening of some archives, and even a forensic examination of Mary Wetzera's remains in the late 20th century, the definitive answer remains elusive. Each new piece of evidence seems to add another layer to the enigma, rather than stripping it bare. Was it truly a tragic suicide, born of despair and forbidden love? Or was it a cold, calculated assassination, a desperate measure to silence a troublesome prince? Mayerling remains a dark mirror, reflecting the brutal realities of power, the fragility of life, and the enduring power of secrets. The mystery of Rudolf, Crown Prince of Austria, and Mary Wetzera will likely never be fully resolved. It stands as a testament to the fact that some palace dramas are simply too complex, too deeply shrouded in imperial intrigue, to ever truly be laid to rest. Next, we'll delve into the scandal surrounding Empress Sissy's own dramatic and unconventional life.